Hello everyone, I'm back after a month off. Not planned really, but life got in the way, so I couldn't make any videos. But I haven't stopped buying my books. I have like this really huge stack of books that I really wanna talk about. But yes, things got in the way. Family affairs and you know. Other things, stress also contributed to not being up to making videos as well. So just a lot of stuff going on with me that didn't allow me to make any of the videos. But like I showed there are a ton of books that I want to talk about. So I haven't put them away. So yeah, I'll be able to cover all of them. I'm not gonna go too deep into each uh, issue, but definitely just give like a general impression of them, and then my more in-depth stuff will be coming as always every week. But at the same time, it's very tiring trying to create content uh, on a weekly basis. Just me and my laptop, no, nothing else. Um, Plus, I've also been reading a lot of back issues from my collection as well. Some I've gone to the internet, to one of those websites that have public domain comics. I've been reading a lot of the old Golden Age stuff as well. Lots of stuff to talk about really, but not enough. I guess not enough time to talk about them in various videos because again, it's very hard to just do this thing on a weekly basis and try to make 2 or 3 videos a week is also pretty tough. But I'll probably be just going back to the whole Superman, Golden Age Superman videos and the back issue reviews been doing, uh, that I've been doing. But I think that'll be a lot more rarer. They were supposed to be like fill-in videos for weeks when I didn't have any new comics, but I've just noticed that every month, every week, I've been going to the shop, getting new stuff, trying new things, and it's driving me insane. Just adding more and more comics, and I'm actually have to drop back to my initial plan, but there's just so much good stuff out there that I want to try. So, anyways, let's get to the book. So, I really want to start with some free comics, some back issues as well. So, like I said, we had the Halloween Comic Fest. So of course, you get the free comics for those. Plaza Shop had actually had a few had a sale on titles. I really didn't buy a lot of stuff because it's pretty hard to find what that the comics that they were giving on sale, because they said it put like a little sticker, so not every book had that. So some of them might not be the things that I've been looking for, but I did get to books. So for the Halloween one, so I got the Hellblazer special edition, and the Rocky with Bullwinkle mini comic. Then of course the shop also does this pick up stuff from previous years. So I picked up this from Marvel. This this stuff from by Walter Simonson. Though I don't think it was a good choice since for a free comic because it sort of is the end of a larger story arc and it's kind of confusing. It confused me a bit. Uh, but I decided to get it. Then they got these other two mini comics, Itty Bitty Hellboy and this Donald Duck one. On sale, what I got for on sale was Manhattan issue number 3, which was already discounted at 8 pesos, so I could pay like 2 for this issue, which is, could have gotten more, I guess, but just to pick up one. And this one was not on sale, but it was discounted from its original price. I think it was because it was a $5 book. It was like around a little over 100 pesos. The equivalent. You just got it for 20. Now that it's discounted it, which is the Multiversity The Master Man, which I bought because of the upcoming Earth X 12 issue series that's coming out in December. So I wanted to get familiarized with Earth X before picking up that series, which sort of picks up from where Grant Morrison left off. So those are the books I got for free and discounts. So another interesting book I want to talk about, The Green Lantern #1 by Grant Morrison. So I wasn't really sold on the original concept, which is Space Cop. But the more I heard about it, I was intrigued, so I decided to try it out. Yes, it's a $5 book, lots of thick book as well. Nice setup. The art by Liam Sharp is great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to picking up the next issue of this one. Really expanding really on the whole Green Lantern core concept, especially with the core going just beyond the visible universe, but in fact going into other dimensions and like the idea of life extending beyond the biological to the more like energy and stuff like that. So quite intriguing concepts that Grant Morrison is bringing in. Might as well go with this one. So Renaro 46. So sad to hear that the Benson sisters are leaving the book. I really been liking what they are doing with this current arc. If they had more plans for them for Green Arrow, I wish I had a chance to. I mean, it's just a good read. I really enjoy Green Arrow every month. I really enjoyed this arc, which kind of goes back to the heart of Green Arrow. You know, bring him back to being, fighting for the little guy, being the street level a hero, and also seeing a little bit of him sort of using his wealth and trying to help the little guy. So yeah, great book. Ugh, sorry. Okay. Moving on, let's go through the whole Bendis pickups plus uh, Bendis pickups because I bring a lot of stuff from Bendis actually. So of course we got Action Comics, issue 1004 and 1005. So we got the the return of Lewis. So a couple of issues ago, she showed up. This follows from, I think it was in issue 1002 where she returned, because issue 1003 skipped that. So this is a return of Lewis. And a lot of people were surprised, I guess, for the whole interaction between Clark and Lewis. But they shouldn't have been surprised because it's something Bendis has been talking about for a while, which is the dynamic of the Superman family is quite different from any normal family, right? So it sort of just establishes the change in the dynamic of Lewis and Clark, and John coming up. Uh, that they're not exactly normal people, though especially Clark tries to live a normal life, but even then, just being Superman takes him to some crazy places. So, of course, there are. It's not a change in. It's just a change in the dynamic, to freshen up those relationships, which after a while they do seem to go stale. So it's just a little minor shake up. The dialogue, I think I heard people or read under people complaining about the way Lewis talked. I didn't mind it as much because it's Bendis, so Bendis has a certain way of writing dialogue, which is different from most writers. So he's usually sort of has a little nuance to trying to make people sound like they would, the characters sound like as if how people would sound, normally. Like me right now, trying to get my ideas straight. And yeah, it does sort of stand out a bit from what we're used to. The same thing happened when the Guardian showed up, where again his dialogue changed from something that was very neutral from earlier appearances to sort of standing between sort of a tough guy, a little bit of a 40s kind of slang sound as well in his dialogue. So it does kind of stand out a bit more than not being quite used to these characters having you know having dialogue with the guest personality. And of course, this month's issue 1005, I actually picked up the variant because you never really see a lot of this type of covers anymore with the whole holiday motive. So this is a revelation of who the Red Cloud is, and it was Robinson Good. Uh, so she was kind of an obvious pick now that I think about it. I mean, she actually she's associated with this whole invisible mafia. Um, of course, it wasn't very clear. Actually, I believe the previous in this issue, I think, or the issue before that. I think it was in issue 1003 where they killed that female boss who provided Robinson with the kryptonite. The Red Cloud killed her, but didn't seem as if Robinson would be the Red Cloud, but it sort of seems quite obvious. We really didn't know what her tail was. We also, what else happened? Oh yeah, well, we got the appearance of the Question after so many years. I'm not saying the Question, and a tease for the Wonder Comics with the appearance of the Dial H for Hero Dial, or the Hero Dial, showing up, and yeah, so great art by Brian Sook as well. I can't forget to mention that, and apparently he's in next issue would be his last on the book, but wonderful art. Speaking of Superman, keeping on the theme, Superman number 5. Again, I picked up the Adam Hughes cover because it's both an homage to a classic Golden Age Superman cover, and a sequel because of the dialogue. So I really like this cover. Curiously enough, the original issue where this cover was based off on also came out in November. So it's a bit of a coincidence. Anyways, so Act 2 of the Unity saga begins with Zod showing up. So it picks up really where it left off the previous issue, which is bringing Earth back to normal space after being sucked into the Phantom Zone. Zod, like I said, shows up, and pretty much that's it. Though it's a very different Zod because we open up with this dream sequence of Zod seeing like this bright future with a new Krypton, asking the joining of both, House of El and the House of Zod. I'm looking for a brighter future for new Krypton. Interesting. So it's very different. We see a very different Zod, and of course, Superman fighting Regal Zor and the Phantom Zone criminals, but mostly Regal Zor, has really started to take a toll on Superman. And Zod showing up at the end to save Superman's bacon because he is getting destroyed by Regal Zor as he's tiring of fighting. So we'll see what happens next. Then the two Bendis Jinx World original creator on series. So Pearl number 2 and Pearl number 4. Been enjoying this book. It seems to be a huge success. So it will go into an ongoing status. But yeah, I've been enjoying this book. This is where I've said it before with this book and this book. This is where I think Bendy shines with his own creations. Both intriguing stories. Really, basically, Pearl is the story of a girl who had a goal in life, but her parents' relationships with the Yakuza has thrown her life a curveball. She just wants to be a tattoo artist, but she's obligated to the clan to be their assassin, and as we learn in these issues throughout the series, as we go through the flashbacks, that they were offering Pearl an out from the Yakuza, but she took it, but she didn't take the way out because she would be running her mom's tattoo parlor, and that's what she wanted to be. She really wanted to honor her mother, uh, so she's got herself deep into the whole Yakuza thing. Then we got cover. Uh, Another intriguing book. This one is still a six-issue miniseries, and apparently there will be another miniseries coming out in 2020. But it's intriguing seeing, how a comic book artist becomes a spy for the CIA. Believe issue 2, he's being beaten by another artist who also works for a different organization doing the same thing that our protagonist does here. Uh, in and so we get the narration of what happened after issue 1, which is going to believe it was Turkey. Uh, and so this actually we learn through issue 3 that this actually the story here, where he's being beaten up by this guy, who's also an artist, is taking place in Paris. So he's in Paris. We learn why he got himself into this situation. Not completely, but we get an idea how that happened, and that's because Julia, the protagonist handler, Max, that's his name, wanted to know who this artist was working for, since she believed that uh, her operation, getting comic book writers and artists to work as spies because of the whole con thing, conventions, going different parts of the world, will allow the CIA get info. Actually, it was an original idea, so she wants to know who also kind of copied her whole idea. Um, Finally, from the Superman stuff, Supergirl number 24. I mean, I love the Amanda Conner cover variant, especially with like little crypto in every cover. I love them. Reminds me of my own dog, which I miss very much. Anyway, so in this issue, uh, as you know, I've had a few issues with this new run. Should because how it began, not the subsequent issues. A little bit. But this one is where it gets fun. So Supergirl girl goes to this sort of bar, it's space bar, where we learn that Ambush Bug, which is now he's fully an alien, not like the original version, works as a stand-up comedian, or a comedian. It's got a show in this bar, right? So Supergirl is actually looking for like the next crystal. She found one, not from the from the Guardian, the one she got in Noah. Now she's getting for the next one. It's in this bar. She's looking for info. Things go bad. As always, you get into a bar fight. She finds the crystal. She meets this guy, Koluan, who asks Supergirl for a ride. And so they head for her next destination, which turns out to be Krypton. So, or where Krypton was. So that does not look very good for her, as we can see. We got actually special guest art by Doc Shanner, so great art as well. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I'm starting to warm up to this run actually. So, uh, but still, it's got a little bit of that. It could have been the story could have been handled better. Sorry about that. Could have been handled better. Uh, Next up. Next up. Next up. So Justice League Odyssey. So I already talked about issue one, uh, which I enjoyed, and I've actually been enjoying this series. Picked up 3 issues already. Intriguing as to why Cyborg, Azrael, and Starfire are all gods to these civilizations who have been around for a very long time. So that's an intriguing premise. Issue two actually, you know, Starfire learn a little bit, and the team learn a little bit more about this whole thing in this planet that actually worshipped Starfire. Uh, Here in this issue, uh, we learned that because to a different planet where a lot of what Coluans are being held prisoner by other civilizations, and they ended up there because they need to fix the Brainiac skull ship after damage it suffered being in the ghost sector. We introduced a new character, Rapture, who seems to be a follower of Azrael. Apparently wants to do something with Cyborg because he's in, you know, Cyborg's home planet, if you will. So it's very intriguing art. Unfortunately, the uh, the uh, the artist changed, uh, but I think that the story is great. Very intriguing approach to this. Of course, what I like a lot more about it is that it's more of a spontaneous team up or a spontaneous team that came together rather than being formed formally, by the Justice League. But circumstances brought them together, but not so much as being a specific team for a specific mission. So I like that. I like that a lot. A lot of especially like a lot of movies like the Avengers movie, sort of get rid of the heroes teaming up, to fight a threat, and they're just sort of like they did with the Ultimate, sort of brought them together by force. So that's why I like the Justice League movie, and just that the principle of heroes coming together spontaneously rather than being forced to create a team unit. So next up, Catwoman number 5. So I have no idea if this is gonna be like a 12 issue arc or whatever, but I'm enjoying it. Of course, the art by Joel Jones is great. We continue to explore, you know, uh, I'm not gonna waste too much time, but I just love this book. Look forward to it every month, and this is really the only bad book I get. I, so there's like a lot of stuff that is new, but it doesn't really rely too much on the past, well, a little bit, but you know, it's true. I mean, just seeing Catwoman, get captured and then just pretty much, you know, fighting her way out, just escape, being able to escape is such a great thrill for me to enjoy. Uh, what else have I got? Oh, so one number 58. The first issue by G. Willow Wilson and Carrie Nord. Uh, so I was gonna be uh, I wanted to try that book. I haven't read One Woman in a while, and I actually like G. Willow Wilson. In fact, I was planning on reviewing the fill-in issue she did on Superman, which is the first time I've ever read anything by her, which I thought was very good. I didn't really like the art on that issue, but I really liked the story. So I'll probably find some time to talk about that issue. Plus, I think I read her Miss Marvel stuff as well, a few issues of that. So, the All Gods are returning. So it seems Ares uh, has been reborn and wanting to work with Wonder Woman to fight turning an injustice, but the impression I get is it doesn't really get it, or what it's necessary for him to do that. Uh, of course, this week issue 59 came out. I unfortunately did not pick it up because I've been spending a little too much money this month, in fact, in the last couple of weeks, and I actually want to pick up the Shazam book coming out next week, and that's a 40-page book, and that's gonna be about $5. So I'm right saving my money that. Uh, on that book, I'm probably just trying to catch up on Wonder Woman. This whole, still having a couple of books coming out twice a month is a bit too heavy for me financially. But I'll probably pick it up on a slow week, which I usually do have a slow week where I usually have like one or two books. Anyways, I really like this issue. It didn't blow my mind, but it was quite entertaining. On the indie side of things, picked up issue 2 of Blackbird. This is an intriguing book. Like the cover art, got a nice back cover as well. So it's by Sam Humphries and Jen Bartel. And I'll probably, have to read it, but I'm actually intrigued by this book. It's got some interesting things, especially for our leading character here. Her connection to this magical realm is quite intriguing. Why is she the only one that is totally aware that this other world exists? And now that she's in it, what is she gonna learn and find out? And if she's going to be able to save her sister who has been captured. So yeah. So now for a little bit of a change of pace on what is my usual pickups that are so I'm gonna talk about Archie 700 and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This is the $1 reprint, due to the Netflix show. So I'm gonna start with this one. So when it was originally announced, I was intrigued because I actually like the art by Robert Hack. So because it kind of reminded me, it's kind of this sort of painted look. It's sort of like very retro 60s illustration type thing, which see here, uh, which I kind of reminded me of stuff I used to see when I was a little kid. I had some books that had this sort of similar style, like like little golden books, and even going further back to like a children's encyclopedia from the Encyclopedia Britannica, had this sort of type of art illustration. Uh, but I don't remember, like, I don't know if the shop had a lot of copies or less copies. I don't remember. I didn't really pick it up afterwards, and the shop sold out. So I actually bought this because I actually bought this over the weekend because on my regular comic book day, on which was, I believe, Friday, Thursday or Friday. I think it was on the Thursday when the new comics came out. I bought my regular books, but I picked up one copy for my youngest brother, who actually saw the Netflix show and was very interested in it. So I said, well, I'll look something up and I'll pick it up. So when it was supposed to come out, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, there wasn't a single copy of this. So it was like, I believe, last week where it finally showed up. So I picked up one, gave it to my brother, and I was so intrigued. I thought, well, I'll go and pick up my own copy of this as well. Quite worthy, interesting, enjoyable, very different from the original stuff. A little bit darker, I think, from the Netflix show. So yeah, so finally got a chance to try this out. Fortunately, I won't be able to get any more issues of it though, because those issues are like sold out from my shop. So the day I actually bought my brother his own copy of this, I decided to try Archie with Archie 700. So a new story. This is actually being written by Nick Spencer, with that by Marguerite Sauvage. So I haven't really read. I mean, I flipped through the old Archie stuff throughout the years, so I'm pretty familiar with the characters. So that, well, I'll give it a try. Now that I'm picking up this, for my brother, I might as well try this out as well. Obviously, it's not the same old Archie, and in a way, it's still the same. At least character-wise, personality-wise. It's a good jumping on point for people who've never read Archie, as every Archie character from the old and the new have shown up. Of course, the art is fantastic as well, and it's a good way to start a new arc with a new writer coming on aboard, a new artist, and familiarizing people with Archie. The only thing I didn't really like about this is that it sort of feels a little bit like it's taking a cue from the Riverdale show, and after I saw the first episode, I've never really watched Riverdale, so it's kind of have a bit of a vibe like that. But it's okay. I might actually pick up the next issue. I'm not sure. But something different, with a different pace that doesn't really is neither superhero or crime fiction or fantasy or sci-fi. Just more down to earth stuff and trying to bring it out more intriguing stuff to the to the whole Archie new look Archie, I guess you can say it, which sort of blows my mind that how can you keep this being Archie and still sort of make it a more modern comic that would appeal to a much wider audience, and it's just gag based on some funny joke or within within the story, or creating humorous situations, and so it goes from becoming more of a drama, I guess. So because that theater I'm used to, the one that is more about having a good, fun, laugh short story. Anyways, I'm rambling, and it's 41 minutes. So yeah, so I did cover every book. If there's any of the books that I showed that you want me to go more in depth, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll make a video on that comic or comics on those issues that you tell me that you want to know more about, and go more in depth into it, and probably try to do something this weekend or next weekend whenever I have a time, and cover those books as well, because I really do want to get really into some of these issues, because there's just so much to talk about. Just Action Comics alone has a lot of interesting things going on that are worth going more into. But any of the books you want me to talk about in depth, just let me know. Leave a comment below, and I'll get those issues, reread them if I have to, and do the proper review of them. So anyways, so anyways, I'll see you in my next video. So until next time, keep smiling.